Well, let's talk about N. I mean, N said he had a change of heart and he wanted to, what was it, protect trainers from bad or whatever, or something like that.
Oh
So
yeah,
he
that.
left to go to distant land or something.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a Pokemon in distortion at this land or something like that.
Hey, that could be it too. You're right. That could be it. See, I have a different theory on that, but that could be it. I'm going to talk about the one you're talking about first. The distant land thing. This is a spoiler again, guys. So if you haven't beat the game, shame on you guys. You got to beat the game and get through it and find out on your own. Okay, so distant land. When you actually beat the game, you get all the sages and everything. Looker shows up. He tells you that N was last seen flying on a dragon. Or he doesn't really say N. Some guy with green hair was flying on this dragon to a distant land. Quote, distant land. What could this distant land mean? A new region, a new area, within Gray maybe. If not, maybe within Gray, maybe kind of referencing Pokemon XD Gale of the Darkness or a region. I know it sounds far-fetched, but if you think about it, he has a pure heart. He hates Pokemon being mistreated. So it could be maybe going back to the corrupted Pokemon, the Shadow Tried, Shadow Pokemon, corrupted Pokemon, and being pure heart, hates hatred, mistreated Pokemon, all that. So it could be that. That's my theory on that, but I'm going to stay with your theory here. I'll probably save that for a different video anyway. But on the theory that you said...
This could sound pretty stupid here, but maybe the Shadow Tried maybe have Shadow Pokemon, and maybe they're going to introduce Shadow Pokemon into Gray.
Maybe.
The 3 starters, like you said.
It sounds far-fetched, but it wouldn't be out of possibility. My friend made a mention about that, actually. He made a mention. He said, end quote, he said, the only villains in the Pokemon games that all look the same are the 4th generation and down. They all dress up similar. Well, except for, what's his name? Cyrus. He kind of looks spacey, but they all have the same style, They got, like, a regular shirt, pants, and stuff like that. But Getsezus is the only villain that actually looks very similar to an XD villain, from Ori. He has that weird get-up type dress where he looks like...
He does have that little thing on his eye, too.
Yeah, which, in my opinion, it looks a lot like a Lugia eye or some kind of scanner to check for shadow Pokemon, maybe, I know I'm going wild and crazy with these theories, but, you never know. They could actually introduce shadow Pokemon within the games, because they're talking a lot about how Pokemon being mistreated and corrupted. I don't personally think they'll do it, but they could introduce it like advertising basically saying, hey, we introduced this concept that they're shadow Pokemon, but if you want to actually battle them, they might be in a new game or something. They might advertise it that way. And I personally don't know what they'll do with it, but I kind of got lost in this whole theory thing. I'm going in different directions. But you were talking about a distant land with N, right? So what if, like you said, it could open a new dimension, new world? I doubt it, because Looker does say he was last seen at a distant land, so it could be either way. I think if he is seen in distant land, it might just be a reference to XD, or it might actually just be N within a distant land in the same region, which is the Unova region, expanded areas.
He could very well be looking for something to maybe a Pokemon or an item or something to maybe change the hearts of everyone else that have been mistreating Pokemon within the Unova region or something.
Well, maybe, but, he does kind of see the point from a trainer's eye now. He kind of sees that, okay, not all trainers are bad now, just some of them are. So he could just play off as a trainer that wants to be a hero, Sort of like what the game says, the hero or whatever within the game. I forgot how they mentioned it. And there's a lot of things to go away. And another thing, they never really introduced N's name within Black and White. They never did. So Pokemon Gray has to introduce his full name. And a few other things. You remember the 2 girls that were in N's castle?
Yes.
They really didn't explain too much about them. And if you look at their hands, they both have bracelets that N has on both his left and right side. So that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of things to explain in Pokemon Gray. And maybe even areas, because if you look at some of the Pokemon areas in Pokemon Black and White, some of them are blocked off. so you can't really access them. I know that you probably, I mean, some of the viewers or listeners probably think, well, what are you talking about? Areas blocked off? I don't remember being blocked off. If you pay attention, there's some areas that look like you can get to them, but you can't. There's one in the town where you fight Gym Leader Clay. There's like a construction type place right there, or like a boat you can't really reach that's being blocked off.
It's like it's a giant tunnel. Or
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then there's another one. If you go to I can't pronounce her name, Elsia or Elesia, the electric gym leader. If you go below that town, the desert area, there's another place they're constructing. The desert area. Building. Yeah, there's that weird building, and they didn't explain what they were building. They didn't say what it was, so Pokemon Gray would have to explain what the heck that is.
Could very well maybe be a Battle Frontier. Like, I remember they introduced Battle Frontier into Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Next to the town where you get the running shoes, I think that's the town you go surf or whatever. And then there's the Battle Frontier that they were building.
You know, you're right. That makes perfect sense, actually. That they could very well do that.
Maybe they're going to bring back the Pal Park from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum or whatever.
I don't know about Pal Park, since they already got that thing where you shoot Pokemon and you kind of get them back. But the Battle Tower thing, they could bring it back, unless they decide to make like Battle Frontier gym leaders type persons in the subway area, which I don't think they would, because subway masters are supposed to be like, professional subway people or whatever. It's like a theme or something. But hey, it could be that. It could be a Battle Tower type construction, because it was tall and they didn't explain what it was. So they could be doing that. And I think that would be cool if they actually did that. And there's other areas. I can't remember them on the top of my head. You can probably remember some of them. I know you went through the game recently, and you probably saw some other areas that I don't remember.
I think there might be one on that one route with all the different language people, like Spanish, and French, all those people. I think there's an area over there where you go up the waterfall by going around, or you can just climb the waterfall, and then there's like a forest, and there's an area where you can drop down, but once you drop down, it's blocked off, and then you just have to leave. I think there's an area like that. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different things within the Pokemon Black and White games that really don't explain much. But hopefully if this rumor is true, and it is indeed Pokemon Gray, hopefully, we're right, and there's some things in there that they'll probably introduce. A few other things that maybe they should introduce, like let's go ahead. We talked a lot about Pokemon Gray and Kyurem, and oh yeah, before we do move on, let's go ahead and talk about the movie. The movie Keldeo and the Sacred Swordsman, or was it? No, it's Kyurem, right?
It was something like that.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think's up with that? What do you think's the story behind that?
Honestly, I think either Ash or whoever is gonna end up finding Kyurem for whatever reason, and then Kyurem will be introduced. He might be a bad guy. Tending reading on one of the things on Bulbapedia, it says there's a legend that Kyurem would claim victims and eat them away and take them from their towns and whatnot for whatever reason, and it doesn't necessarily say who started that legend or whatnot, but that could be true. Maybe Kyurem's a bad guy, and Keldeo comes from wherever he/she's been hiding since it's genderless, and maybe Keldeo and the other three trio fight off Kyurem or something.
Yeah. And when I see the Kyurem, the movie poster and everything, all three of the Musketeer Pokemon are there. So they probably don't stand a chance, so Keldeo shows up. And I know that Pokemon games rarely have any true connection or canon-wise to the movies. Like, if you look Black and White, they really had no major connection. Like, N wasn't there or anything like that, yet they still showed zekrom, reshiram. But the reason why I want to talk about them is because, it's really obvious, if you put all these clues together, that there's more than likely going to be a Pokemon Gray announcement. And the way you can see it is the Pokemon trading card game. It's got Mewtwo and Kyurem. You got Kyurem right there. He's being advertised in the trading card game form. What better way to promote Pokemon Gray? Then you got the new moves that was just recently shown and discovered. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if it's recently discovered, but I've never heard of him. I'm sure you haven't, and other people probably haven't. And it's there. So it just suddenly popped out of nowhere. So you got Kyurem in the trading card game. You got these weird moves that just popped out of nowhere. You got this announcement coming up from Junichi Masuda saying that you should all tune in and watch Pokemon Smash, which is a Pokemon-based TV show. All Pokemon. And I'll talk about that in a bit. And then you have the last thing on here, which is the oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Okay, there was the games, the move sets that were discovered. Junichi Masuda announcing that the trading card game. Oh yeah, the movie. The movie's also advertising Kyurem. So all these different things are advertising Kyurem. This announcement just recently popped up. So put all these clues together. It's basically saying, hey, Pokemon Gray is going to pop up. It's actually going to happen, and he mentioned sequels to Black and White. It could be maybe a sequel to something else, like maybe he's talking about sequel to 5th gen, or an actual sequel. I don't think he'll move to 6th gen because that's way too soon, but they might. I doubt it, but if they do move into a sequel from Black and White, they might do what they did with which I was telling you earlier about the pattern they used in Ruby and Sapphire, which was Ruby, Sapphire, then they released Fire Red, which is a remake, Leaf Green, another remake, instead of just putting Emerald. But they switched up that pattern, made on 4th gen, they released Diamond and Pearl, and then they released Platinum, then the remakes. So they could be doing that pattern, Ruby, Sapphire maybe, if not, Pokemon Gray, but all these clues point more towards a Pokemon Gray happening. What do you think?
This sounds pretty out there, but if you do remember reading about Kyurem, it says that he's an extraterrestrial Pokemon and he came from a meteor. Now, if you remember in Emerald, there was an event for Deoxys, how he also came from a meteor and he went to that special place or whatever. And maybe since they're talking about Ruby and Sapphire remakes, possibly maybe Kyurem has to do something with Deoxys in the remake. Maybe in the remake, Deoxys will be a Pokemon that you need to get for maybe to get the Gray Orb. Maybe you need both those Pokemon or something to get Kyurem's special form. I mean, it sounds pretty out there, but it also could make sense. Tending they're both extraterrestrial Pokemon.
Yeah, they could be using that. Yeah, they could be using that to introduce Ruby and Sapphire, maybe, right?
Yeah.
They might. Maybe they might be doing that. You made a point about the Deoxys being from space and Kyurem being from space or from a meteorite. There's a lot of weird things about Kyurem. There really is. They need to explain that a lot more better. What he looked like and all that, and all these different rumors flying around. Yeah. Another thing I want to just put out there before I forget is Mewtwo. Mewtwo. You look at Mewtwo and you say, okay, what does Mewtwo got to do with Pokemon Gray? Pokemon Gray is more than likely going to introduce Genesect, Maybe not right away, but they're gonna eventually. And you mentioned earlier that Genesect and Mewtwo were basically created by humans. Mewtwo being cloned from Mew and Genesect being revived from an old fossil and then, kind of modified. So he was basically created by humans. So there's Mewtwo and the Genesect connection, which goes to Pokemon Black and White. But obviously there is no way to get Genesect in Black and White as of yet, unless through events. But Pokemon Gray will probably have that option where you can run into Genesect through event. And if you look at Heart Gold Soul Silver, they had a special Pichu event which unlocked extra content. So this is why when I saw Mewtwo up for download and we had all these rumors flying around in the chat, we were talking about, oh, Pokemon Gray, this might happen. Now all those rumors are actually coming together. And this announcement kind of builds up on what we actually said before this announcement was up. And, when I saw that Mewtwo on the Pokemon website being promoted saying, download Mewtwo now, I didn't just see the movesets. I saw, okay, this might actually be it. This might be a Pokemon that unlocks extra content in the upcoming Pokemon game if they do announce one. And I felt it, and I know you did. You even mentioned it.
What also caught my eye, getting Mewtwo, it comes with a King's Rock, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Hey, that's a good question. I didn't pay attention to that.
You did say N was wearing a crown. Maybe the crown from Mewtwo is possibly the same crown that N wears.
Was he wearing a King's Rock?
It It does look like a King's Rock. I mean, I'd have to check again, but it
Let me
could
check
possibly...
really quick. It's Mewtwo with...
Because why else would Mewtwo have a King's Rock item from the event? Was there a reason that they put it in there, or did they just kind of throw it on there?
I don't know, but that is a good theory on that. Maybe I don't remember. Does he have King's Rock or not? I think he had a berry, didn't he?
I don't even remember, but all I know is it looks like it, sort of, because it was a crown.
Yeah, well, okay, I don't remember if he has a crown or not. I honestly don't, but if he did, that's awesome, because that would make more sense for the...
I do remember in the opening intro, Guess is putting a crown on N's head.
Yeah, that I can agree. Yeah, it could be that, but when I saw Mewtwo, like, I didn't just see it because of the moves. I saw it and I said to myself, okay, you know, if this is a true downloadable event unlocking Pokemon, like they did with Celebi and Pichu, you know, then I'm going to download it because I have a hunch and I have a feeling that Pokemon Gray is going to come out, or something like that, and there's going to be a new game, and it's going to unlock something with this Mewtwo. And the reason why I felt that way is because you mentioned it, and I was thinking the same thing. So when you mentioned it, and I was thinking the same thing, I was like, okay, so I'm not alone on this. I'm not just crazy. I know that there's people out there that are on the same level as us. You know, they're thinking, okay, there's something odd going on. There's something weird going on. So let's not just download it just because. It's because, you know, there's all these clues adding together. And I know I'm going to go back to TCG again, and a lot of people are going to relate, well, the trading card game does not have anything connected with the actual games. That's wrong. If you look at the original sets, they have Blastoise with Rain Dance, Mud Slap, Diglett. You know, those are now actual moves in Pokemon games. So they kind of get their concepts from the trading card game and apply it to the Pokemon games, like abilities and all that. And I know it got way off track here, but let me go back and you turn right back, or full switch, you know. Okay, so if you look at the Pokemon trading card game, the new Next Destinies that came out has Kyurem and, quote, Mewtwo. Who did we recently download? Mewtwo. Exactly. So you got Pokemon Gray, Kyurem mascot. You got Mewtwo, a downloadable Pokemon Black and White, being promoted in the trading card game and as a downloadable Pokemon. I see a connection there, you know? And with Genesect, a bigger connection. You add all these clues up, you get Pokemon Gray, you know? A connection, a big connection. So that's what I saw. And I told my friend, and I told everybody in the chat, call me crazy. I hope I'm not gonna fail in this, because if I do, I'm gonna be ashamed in this video. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be Pokemon Gray. What do you think? What's your comments on that? Pokemon Gray or not?
I honestly think there's gonna be Pokemon Gray.
You honestly think? I think so too. What do you think? Should we end this video the way it is now, or do you want to keep talking about something else?
There's one more thing I want to cover, and that's Meloetta.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
That Pokemon was also just randomly thrown into the game for whatever reason. But I do remember Alder saying he rings the bell or whatever, and then it says there's a presence or whatever, something after you ring it 3 times.
Yeah.
And he was also talking about a Pokemon that died, his Pokemon that died or whatever. And I don't even remember what Meloetta's in their game for. I mean, she does have a form. She has the relic form. She turns into fighting type when she starts out as psychic.
Yeah.
Using the relic song move, which is her special move.
Yeah.
And then Secret Sword is Keldeo's special move. Technoblast is Genesect's special move. It really makes sense, but I'm interested to see what she'll be introduced in the game for.
And going back to Kyurem, I know we're talking about a lot of Kyurem. That Pokemon that Elder had that supposedly died could either be Kyurem, could be Keldeo for whatever reason. It could even be Meloetta, because on the bell area on the tower, the Dragon Spiral, I think what it was called, you know, the bell relates to sound, which relates to Meloetta, which could be a connection to Alder. If not, it could be even Kyurem. I highly doubt it, because, you know, what's his name? Alder got defeated by Reshiram, so I doubt it, or Zekrom, depending on what version he got. So it could be... It might... I'm stuttering here. I cannot pronounce this right here. It might not even be Kyurem. It might be Meloetta, right? Who knows? But it's off for debate. So, you know, I don't know when.
Could be Genesect.
It could be Genesect. Could be that. You know, Genesect died or something. Was revived by Team Plasma. It could be that. There's a lot of questions up for debate, and I think we pretty much discussed pretty much everything about what could possibly be going on, except that maybe what system it could be on. It could be either on DS or 3DS. I think that's like the last thing we could talk about. You want to talk about that?
I honestly think they're just gonna put it out on the 3DS because they just came out with the system. They're starting to bring it and introduce all these new games for the 3DS that everyone's liking. So why not just put the Pokemon Gray for the 3DS? That a game that everyone will enjoy, especially because it's Pokemon and that's one of their biggest sellers.
Yeah.
Just like Mario.
I totally agree. They should definitely put it on 3DS. And the thing with that is that they recently announced the Pokemon new Banga's whatever ambition. I know I raped that name bad. Forgive me, Japan. But that's on DS and it's not on 3DS. And when I first saw it announced, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be on 3DS. I'm gonna have fun playing this game in RTS or strategy type Pokemon game like Fire Emblem, And then I find out it's on DS. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. So if Pokemon Gray is announced, I hope it is on 3DS because it makes sense for them to do that. And they can have Street Pass, better Wi-Fi, maybe even make some of the 3D animations pop out, like the buildings when you're looking at top-down view, pop it out just a little bit with depth. So that'd be really cool.
I remember seeing some videos on YouTube. When you're walking, like it would show it as you see the buildings up tall and everything and whatnot, and you walk as you're actually walking in the game, not looking at overlook or whatever. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and with 3D depth, it would really look really cool with 3D depth. And yeah, I just hope it's on 3DS. So I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about. I think we pretty much talked about everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So last comments, Pokemon Gray.
I'm gonna say confirmed.
I'm gonna say confirmed too. And this is our first, I guess, podcast of this type of video. Hopefully we'll be doing more. And this has been SkyFX with my guest here, Deuce.
Yep.
And we'll see you at the Pokemon Wi-Fi chat. So thank you guys for watching.
Alright, see you.
See ya.